Hi, I'm Susan Clare, Gourmet Quilter, because quilting is delicious. Thank you for being here. Today I thought I'd show you I've been having a little play. I found this wonderful dotty fabric in my stash, and it's a delicious black fabric with nice big white dots on it, and I was thinking how could we make those dots even more delicious. So I've just been playing a little bit and I thought you might like to join in my play. So I layered it with some batting and a backing fabric, so I've got it's actually a lightweight, it's an 80-20 cotton poly fusible bat, so it's just got a very lightweight fusible on it. I've got a backing behind, and then I have just been doodle playing in those dots. So it's free motion stitching, and I've used a couple of colours. I've used a green, which is on the machine at the moment, and I've used a very delicious bright orange. And I'm using an Orifel thread. It's a 50 weight. These are 100% cotton, and they just work so beautifully for this kind of work. They're just regular sewing thread. I make my quilts with them, I quilt with them, but on this decorative type thing as well, they're there. So the Orifel threads come in loads of colours, lots of different, even different weights and things. I'm just using the regular 50 weight, and I just thought I'd show you how I've gone about doing that. So as I said, I've used the two colours. I'm kind of using them randomly, although they look like they're going to come out diagonally, but we will see how that goes. I might change my mind. So I'm going to show you a couple of the dots and how I've done the stitching. So I've set my machine up to have, I've dropped the feed teeth out of the way. I've got my thread top and bottom, the same thread top and bottom. I find it works better when you're doing some of these fiddly little free motion stitchings. You don't want it to suddenly pull on a thread and pull up the bottom thread or something. So if you've got matching thread, everything just seems to sit really nicely. Other than that, I think I did adjust my lower thread tension just a little bit so that it was a little bit easier. Mostly I wanted it to pull the top thread down, so I've just adjusted that a little bit on the sewing machine. So actually I've made it a little bit higher on the bottom because that tightens it and it pulls the top threads just that little bit, so not super tight. It doesn't look any different, but I know that the machine is operating a little bit differently. Otherwise, lower the feed teeth, put on a free motion foot, just slightly adjust your lower tension to pull the top thread down just a little bit. I haven't touched the top tension, and we're going to do some free motion stitching. So I will get the machine all set up for that now. So I've got the orange thread in the machine now, and I have got my free motion stitching foot on. I've dropped my feed teeth. I've got my underneath tension adjusted ever so slightly, and I'm just going to show you how I've gone about doing these very playful little dots. They're so much fun to do. So all I'm going to do is do some free motion stitching. I'm not drawing on first. You could if you wanted to give yourself a guideline, but they're just a little bit of fun. And so I'm going to start off with a couple of stitches on top of each other. That locks off the thread. And then I'm just going to do some stitching here. We're just going to have some fun little sort of circle type flowers. Not really necessarily meant to be anything, they're just hanging around in there. And then I'm going to come around the edge of the circle. So I'm just going to snip off that thread. We locked that off so I can cut that away. So you can just take your time, you don't have to rush. You might wander just a little bit, that's okay. And I'm just going to do a little scalloped edge around here. So it's good if you use a contrast colour thread because then it stands out nicely. You can go over it a second time, that gives it a little bit more emphasis if you want to do that. I do that often with a design inside, but not necessarily with this edging, but that would be up to you. The scallops can vary a little bit, it's a little bit organic. And then I can cut my threads off. And it's really that simple. So we'll just do another one here, just so that we can be sure. So we're going to start over here, do a couple of stitches to lock the thread, and then we're just going to come up, and we might just do one larger sort of flower type shape here. And I'm going to go over that twice, and when I come along here I'm just going to give it some little stamens out here. And then I'm going to come around that outside edge. Now it could just be a pattern, it doesn't have to be a flower, it could be pretty much anything you like. Just be a little grid. It's just a fun decorating thing. It's a great way to practice if you need to practice some little free motion ideas. Now what should we do here? We might do the little square scallop out here. But you can see how it's quite addictive doing all this. You could just decorate a little area like I'm doing here. This could be turned into like a little zipper pouch, anything you like really. And so it's as simple as that. As I said, it could be just a little swirly pattern, any number of things you can do. So I've had a whole lot of fun. There's a whole lot more dots, still more fun to be had, but I thought I'd just show you the green. It's the same thing doing it with a different colour, exactly the same process. So we've just done this one and this one, and I think that they're looking great. I'm just going for a slightly random look. You could do them all different colours. You could do pretty much anything you like. And I'm thinking that this little sample here will end up making quite a nice little, perhaps a little zippered pouch or something by the time it's finished. There's enough there. So you don't have to do a whole lot. It could be a nice panel in a cushion. You could be doing a table runner. There's so many things you could do. So that was really just some fun doing some doodles in dots with some free motion stitching. Thank you.